David Blaine is a magician and endurance performer who's been on my radar for quite some time now. I've long admired his magical abilities ever since I saw him on his TV show, What is Magic? Since then, I've watched all of his stunts with awe. Buried alive, frozen in between 2 blocks of ice, he stood on a pillar for 35 hours, he hung himself up in a glass box for 44 days, he spent a week underwater. That's just to name a few of his stunts. When I learned about his new project Ascension during his performance on the Joe Rogan Experience, obviously I was going to watch it. Streamed live on YouTube, this 3-hour event showed the preparation and the build-up to Blaine's performance, where he held on to 52 helium balloons, floated to 25,000 feet and then skydived down to the bottom. And amazing as that stunt was, that's actually not what my challenge is going to be about. In the VTs during the build-up to the event, Blaine talked about a breath-holding technique that he uses to prevent hypoxia, which is a condition where the body can't get enough oxygen as it moves up into higher altitudes. He shows multiple examples of himself and his colleagues moving up to higher altitudes in a plane. They continually check their oxygen levels, but while his colleagues' oxygen levels deplete as they get higher and higher up into the sky, Blaine is able to maintain his oxygen levels for much longer. And Blaine claims that this technique is available to everyone and that you can actually use this technique to hold your breath for up to 5 minutes at a time. This is considerably longer than the average untrained person whose maximum breath hold is going to be between 30 seconds and a minute long. To prove the effectiveness of this technique, Blaine took some celebrities like Casey Neistat, Will Smith, and Jamie O'Brien and taught them this technique. They were able to increase their breath hold times from less than a minute to close to 5 in most cases. To put this in context, the world famous magician Harry Houdini's lifetime record for breath holding was 3 minutes and 30 seconds. For this challenge, I'm going to see how long I can hold my breath using David Blaine's breath holding technique. Tim Ferriss received personal training from David Blaine at a seminar, and he distilled down all the information into an easily digestible blog, which is what I'm going to use as the basis for this challenge. According to these instructions, there are 3 key pillars for this technique: deep breathing, purging, and semi-purging. Deep breathing involves taking in 1 big breath, holding it for 1 second, and then slowly exhaling it for 10 seconds. Purging involves a very deep exhale followed by a large inhale. Semi-purging is breathing in between the two, more forceful than deep breathing, but less forceful than purging. And this is the type of breathing you use when you're trying to recover. What I'm going to do now is try and hold my breath for as long as I can. That's going to give me a baseline to see how much improvement I make when I implement David Blaine's technique. Okay. Okay. 41 seconds. It's very clear to say that I am useless at holding my breath. So any improvement I can make is going to be very substantial, I would hope anyways. Even if I can get to a minute, that'll be great for me because my breath holding is absolutely rubbish. So I suppose what I'm going to do now is try and implement Blaine's techniques and see how much of a difference, if any, it can make to my times. Step 1 is 1 minute and 30 seconds of deep breathing. One minute and 15 seconds of purging, which is going to be strong exhales followed by big inhales. After step 2, I feel slightly lightheaded, but step 3 now is to hold my breath for 1 minute and 30 seconds. So that's going to be a 1 minute increase on my actual time if I can do it. So I will give that a blast and see if I can do that. So immediately after those first 2 steps, I've been able to hold my breath for 1 minute 27 seconds. I'll show you. In fairness, I think that's pretty impressive for my first attempt. The next step in this is to do 1 minute and 30 seconds of deep breathing, followed by 1 minute 30 seconds of purging, and then I shall be able to hold my breath for 2 minutes and 30 seconds after that. Okay, so I'm setting the timer for 2:30 and I'm going to try and hold my breath for that long now without looking at the timer. I set the timer for 2 minutes and 30 seconds and just about got to 1 minute 20 seconds. I'm going to do the final step in the process here, which is 2 minutes of deep breathing and 1 minute and 40 seconds of purging, and then holding my breath for as long as possible after the final segment. Okay, I'll show you my time. First and foremost, I've been able to increase the length of time I'm able to hold my breath from 41 seconds up to 1 minute and 50 seconds, which in my opinion is a substantial amount of time. Doing research for this, I had in my mind hoped that I would be able to hold my breath for 5 minutes at a time. Obviously on the first go, that was a lofty goal which I have fallen far short of, but I'm going to keep practicing my breath hold anyways, because my goal at least is to be able to hold my breath longer than Harry Houdini. That's the main goal I have for this challenge. So it is day 2 of the David Blaine How Long Can You Hold Your Breath challenge. I am just back from the barber's. I am not sure how I feel about my haircut yet. I told him I was growing my hair long and this is what happened. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like it or not, but sure, let me know in the comments. Which haircut do you prefer, day 1 or day 2 of this challenge? So I started off by being able to hold my breath for 40 seconds, and using this technique I was able to increase that to 1 minute and 50 seconds. I'm gonna blast through today and see if I can increase my time on yesterday. One minute 30 seconds deep breathing. This is going to be 1 minute 15 seconds of purging. Okay, I feel a bit lightheaded or faint right now, but I'm going to hold my breath for 1 minute 30 seconds. So that was a really comfortable 1 minute and 30 seconds of a breath hold. Absolutely no problem there. And now we need to do 1 minute 30 seconds of deep breathing, followed by 1 minute 30 seconds of purging. So let's go. And now I'm going to try and hold my breath for 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, on that round I went for 2 minutes and 6 seconds. Step 3, 2 minutes deep breath, 1:45 purging, and I'll see if I can improve my time. Okay, so 2 minutes and 3 seconds. So I've increased my time from day 1, which was initially 40 seconds, to the end of day 1, which is 1 minute 50 seconds. And today I'm up to 2 minutes and 3 seconds. So I can see that I'm making some substantial gains each time I do this practice session. So I'll come back on day 3 and I'll give it a go again and see if I have made any improvement with my technique. That's the end of day 2, and I'll catch you again tomorrow for day 3. Day 3, we're back at the David Blaine holding your breath challenge. We know the drill now. Deep breathing, purging, semi-breaths, and holding your breath for as long as possible. 3 rounds. Going to get it going now, blast straight into it. Step 1, 1 minute and 30 seconds of deep breathing and 1 minute 15 of purging, then hold my breath for 1 minute 30 seconds. Okay, purging. So that's comfortable, 1 minute 30. So step 2, 1 minute deep breathing, 1 minute 30 deep breathing, 1:30 purging, then try and hold my breath for 2 minutes. Okay, purging. Hold my breath for 2 minutes 30. Okay, so I can only hold my breath for 1 minute and 30 seconds there. Jump into the last round now. 2 minutes of deep breathing, 1 minute 45 of purging, and then I'm going to hold my breath for as long as possible. 1:45 purging. Okay, 1 minute 47 seconds. While I haven't been able to increase my breath hold time to beat Harry Houdini, I can now hold my breath 4 times longer than I could at the start of this challenge. The average breath hold time for an untrained person is between 30 seconds and 1 minute long. So if you have a better starting baseline than me at 40 seconds, it's very likely that this technique is going to help you increase your breath hold for a substantially longer period of time than mine. For me, I don't really like the feeling of lightheadedness that I get when I practice the steps in this challenge. It's kind of like the feeling you get when you've been sitting down for too long and then you jump up off the couch too quickly. If you don't really mind that feeling, then you'll be able to deep breathe and purge harder than I was able to, and you'll be able to hold your breath for longer as a consequence. Now, I've never really tried meditating, but I found that a real sense of serene and calmness came over me during my breath holds, at least up until the point that I got the urge in my chest that made me gasp for air. I definitely think it's a case of mind over matter in this instance, and that you probably don't need to give into that urge to gasp for air. I feel like it's something that I could overcome, but I would need to practice this technique on a more regular basis to overcome it. Maybe you're the type of person that could push past this urge to grasp for air and you could get to the next level of breath holding. Just a word of warning though, definitely don't practice this in water, and definitely don't practice this in a situation where if you do go unconscious, you will hurt yourself, because losing consciousness is a real possibility. You get extremely lightheaded when you're practicing this. This has been the David Blaine breath holding challenge. It definitely works. You can definitely increase your breath holding times. Maybe it doesn't work to the extent that was portrayed in Ascension. However, I will give this technique the benefit of the doubt, because I do think that if you learn from David Blaine himself, it would work better than if you're learning from secondhand sources like I was. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you for the next challenge.